Hi Sarah, did you hear about the body of the man that the fisherman found in the sea?
Yes, I read the news on Facebook. It's really shocking. They say it's a suicide case, but I couldn't finish reading because I was busy at work. What happened exactly?
The police thought it was a suicide at first because the man was in big financial trouble, but evidence showed it was a murder. It is the smartest murder I have heard of in my life. Do you want me to tell you the details?
Yes, definitely. I'm curious.
As I told you before, the police thought it was a suicide, but while examining the crime scene, they found tire tracks where the body was discovered on the beach, which made the detectives suspicious.
But can this be enough evidence to raise their suspicion? It sounds very mysterious.
Not only that, they found a fresh wound on the victim's foot, and they sent the body to the coroner, who confirmed that the victim died from drowning. But here's the surprise.
What is the surprise you mean?
The coroner found that the water in the victim's lungs was fresh water, while he drowned in the sea, which has salty water. This shows that the victim did not drown in the sea, but in a place with fresh water, and then the body was moved and thrown in the sea. This explains the tire tracks on the beach.
That's scary. Did they find out who the killer is?
The police did a thorough investigation with the victim's friends and acquaintances. They also questioned his wife a lot. The investigation showed that there were family problems between her and the victim. This made the detectives suspect that she killed him, but they found no evidence.
So if she isn't the killer, then who is? This is getting complicated.
2 days ago, a neighbor of the victim went to the police station and said he had information about the crime. He said he saw a man entering the victim's house while he was away all the time. When they looked for this man's identity, they found out he was one of his close friends.
He was entering his house while he was away? It sounds like there's an affair.
Yes, it is. Quickly, the detectives called that man in. Even though he had been questioned before, and showed no tension, but he showed signs of great stress when the detectives called him again.
What happened after that? I want to know more.
The detectives questioned him a lot, which made him give a detailed confession about the crime.
Really? What did he tell them?
He wanted to commit the perfect crime and had a very smart plan. He almost got away with it. His plan was like this. This killer was cheating on his friend with his wife while he was away, because the victim worked at night. He took advantage of the victim's absence to go to his house and have an affair with the cheating wife, benefiting from her need for money, as he gave her money to keep their affair going. This is what made him get rid of her husband so he could have her for himself.
What a dirty affair. How did he commit the crime?
He took advantage of the victim's need for money and tricked him into thinking he wanted him to work with him in drug dealing to earn money quickly. He made him believe that there was an operation they would do together and that he wanted him to learn to swim because the drugs would be on a boat in the sea. This explains why people saw the victim swimming at night.
That's right. That explains a lot.
He also tricked him into learning how to dive and how to hold his breath underwater for a long time. He brought 2 big containers filled with fresh water and asked the victim every night to put his head in the container and hold his breath to train himself to stay underwater.
That's scary. Go on, I want to hear the details.
On the day of the crime, the victim went with the killer to the killer's garage, where there were 2 large barrels of fresh water. While the victim was putting his head in the water to practice holding his breath, the killer quickly surprised him, lifted him by his feet, and turned him upside down, intending to kill him, which explains the injury on the victim's foot. After ensuring the victim was dead, he put him in the car, then went to the beach and threw him in the sea, and returned home as if nothing had happened.
I'm really shocked by what I've heard. How can there be people this cruel?
I can understand how you feel, Sarah. This story is full of horrific details.
How can someone do something like this? Didn't they feel any guilt?
It seems he was obsessed with fulfilling his desires and didn't care about the consequences. That's what makes it more terrifying.
What about the wife? Was she arrested too?
So far, she hasn't been arrested. But the police are examining her role in the crime, especially since she had an illicit relationship with the killer.
Do you think she could face punishment too?
If there's evidence that she was complicit or contributed to the planning, she could face legal repercussions.
That's really horrifying. I hope the victim gets justice, and so does his family.
Definitely. Justice is what everyone needs. These incidents remind us of the importance of trust and loyalty in relationships.
Exactly. I feel like this story will stay with me for a long time.
Yes, the tragedy lies not only in the crime itself, but also in what happens to the people affected by it.
Thank you for sharing this story, Mark. I hope we hear good news soon.
You're welcome, Sarah. I think we all need to be careful and learn from these experiences.